By virtue of the powers vested in me as the Vice Chancellor and Principal of Walter Sisulu University, I declare the ceremony of the inauguration of Ms. Nonkululeko Gobodo as Chancellor of Walter Sisulu University open. Please be seated.
I think one of the disadvantages of being umfundisi is that you are asked to be at the podium and i-protocol awukayibambi. So mandiyibambe ngesiXhosa ndithi ngqanga neentsiba zayo. Ngoba ke ingqanga iyazazi. Neentsiba ziyazazi. We always, on occasions like this, invoke the spirit sikatata uTiyo Soga. So if the choir can give me 2 verses, liza lisidinga lakho and bona izwe lakowethu, I would be grateful. And I ask abantu beme ngenyawo. Please be seated. I read Psalm 15 indumiso yeshumi linye linesihlanu. Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy mountain? The one whose walk is blameless, who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from the heart, whose tongue utters no slander, who does no wrong to a neighbor and casts no slur on others, who despises a vile person, but honors those who fear the Lord, who keeps an oath even when it hurts, and does not change her mind, who lends money to the poor without interest, one who does not accept a bribe against the innocent. Whoever does these things will never be shaken. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Over the last few months, I have been contemplating and praying over a wise isiXhosa saying. I hinted at it when we were at Kunu on the 18th of July. And I thought, Mam Tembu, as you take this seat, I should, before I offer this prayer, repeat it. Ithi, xa izandla zabasengi zinomlaza, imazi zenkomo ziyophusa. Xhosa A, difficult to translate. When the hands of the milking men or people are filthy, the milking cows run dry. This is based on our history. When things were normal in the olden days, there were people who were chosen to milk the cows. It could be 15 cows, it could be 5 cows, it could be 25. And their duty was simple: to milk the cows and bring in the milk into the kitchen. Now, because of the sensitivity of their duty to feed homes, they were usually expected to have a high moral control, because it was feared that if their hands are filthy, isiXhosa word ethi umlaza, it does not mean dirty from umhlaba. Uthi ugosa mandiyeke kuloo ndawo. Now, sometimes, before we conclude, there will be naughty milking boys and men who would milk the cow into their mouth, asengele emlonyeni, and izidlele zabo would shine, but the children of the home would be dirty and hungry. Sometimes, when they were big boys, they would even have their own calabashes, amaselwa, bawafaka bakuhlanti. Kube uncinci ukutya endlini, kube mninzi ebuhlanti. So the Spirit of the Lord is saying to me, one of the serious problems we have in the country at the moment is not that we are short of cows' resources. The greatest thing is that the hands of the milking cows zinomlaza. And so, Mthembu, as a spiritual leader, after I've offered a prayer, I would ask you to stand and you give me your 2 hands and I anoint you to run this institution. Ngezandla ezingenamlaza. There are workshops about good governance and this, and they waste money, they talk, they eat, but the country ubiswa luzindli. It is not about the cows. It is about those who have been given a responsibility. Baba ngabasengi. May this occasion remind all of us who are here, ukuthi it is against God's will ukusengela emlonyeni. When ibudget iphambi kwakho, mayingangeni kuwe. Milk and take the milk to the kitchen. Because omakoti abakwazi ukuzisa ukutya sitting room, dining room. Xa kusithiwa kuthini silinde ubisi, kwenzeke ntoni ubisi olungena endlini? Things have turned upside down. Ndicinga uba niyava mos. Xa sowugugile awushumayeli 20 minutes. You just say into egodukayo. I wish you well. ndizalwa ngumamthembu nguqhudeni. In your genes kubhalwe success. Abathembu, if you go to Uganda, if you don't know your story, if you go to Uganda, apha President Museveni, they will tell you at one time Uganda was ruled ngabathembu. And they long for those days. Those were good days. I offer you, Mthatha Sekaya, all what I can. May this institution rise higher and higher. Mawuchithe kubisi man. Kuhluthe nezinja. Let us pray. Nkosi, sikelela iAfrika. Maluphakame udumo lwayo. Iva imithandazo yethu. And so, Lord, as we gather at this place, at this time, I ask that your Spirit will prevail and hover over this occasion. May those who are going to give words that energize, words of wisdom. Bless us. And so, Lord, I raise my hand that our Chancellor will be in your hands day and night. Protect her from evil attacks. Protect her from sickness and death. May she continue to be revitalized by your Spirit. Sikelela iwusu. Abantwana baphuma apha, may they change the world in your name. Sikelela universities zethu zonke. Bless this country. Bless the leaders. Lord, bless Africa. Bless the leaders. Guide her children. In the name of Christ. Amen. In the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I bless you. May everything that you touch multiply. Hallelujah.
Sure.
Amen.
Thank you.
Walter Sisulu University's philosophy is encapsulated in the vision, mission, purpose statement, and core values. The vision is to be an impactful, technology-infused African university. Through its core business, WSU responds to societal needs in ethical, scholarly, sustainable, and entrepreneurial ways and delivers future-ready graduates. In pursuit of excellence, Walter Sisulu University addresses societal challenges by producing relevant, innovative, and impactful research, championing sustainable and just development, and graduating versatile individuals. The university has approximately 30,000 students and 1,800 employees that study and work across 4 campuses. In Mthatha, Butterworth, Buffalo City, and Ekomane, the university is uniquely positioned for impact by its location and its character as a comprehensive university. WSU is strategically located to respond to local and national development needs through its research, teaching and learning, and community engagement. In pursuit of excellence, Walter Sisulu University has realigned itself for improved quality and operational efficiency by rationalizing and consolidating its academic offering to 7 faculties, namely Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, Faculty of Natural Sciences, Faculty of Law, Humanities and Social Sciences, Faculty of Management and Public Administration Sciences, Faculty of Economics and Financial Sciences, Faculty of Education, Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment and Information Technology. With the realigned academic structure, the university will realize its objectives of consolidating academic talent for enhanced quality of teaching and learning, reduced duplication and better program delivery, cost saving and maximization of cost efficiency, improved oversight and monitoring, enhanced academic student support. Walter Sisulu University has traversed a journey anchored by relentless pursuit of excellence. This has led the university to achieve remarkable milestones in the past few years. With visionary leadership, strong commitment, strategic collaborations, upskilled and dedicated workforce, WSU has risen to new heights never experienced before. Some of the major achievements are increase of NRF-rated researchers who are recognized as leaders in their fields of expertise and are affirmed by the National Research Foundation for constantly producing high-quality research outputs. Successfully completing major construction and refurbishments across the 4 campuses. Exponential growth in staff members with masters and PhDs to ensure quality learning and teaching. These positive strides towards excellence are testament to the dedication, resilience, and visionary spirit that define WSU's identity. In April 2023, the University Council appointed Ms. Nonkululeko Gobodo as Chancellor, follows in the footsteps of a gallant anti-apartheid activist, Dr. Sheila Sisulu. With Chancellor Gobodo, a strong management team led by Professor Rushila Nolundi Songa, and a host of illustrious industry leaders who sit in the University Council led by Advocate Tembeka Ngqaitobi. Their collective wisdom and passion will take the university to greater success. Walter Sisulu University, a university in pursuit of excellence.
Mandizibulisele. Umfundisi ke uthe xa egqiba apha wakhupha ioil. I'm sure beningamboni nini. Ebejonge ngawo. Wakhupha ioil, waqaba izandla zika Chancellor wethu omtsha. Akaziqaba ezam. Akaqaba novisi lo wam. Andaqonda uba hayi ke andi-understand wakwenzeka ntoni. Ayifuna ke nami ke le oil. Wenza uba ndizokwazi usenga kakuhle. Because kuthiwa i-ole yosenga le. Ndiyabona mamthembu. Ndiyabona ubana thina emampondomiseni sinayo ke neyethu i-oil. Sizawunivimba ke futhi. Kukho ke ilist apha ekuthiwa i-protocol greeting list. I don't think Butimanamela is here, so I can skip him. But the Deputy Director General of Higher Education, Dr. Masia Sokigwa, and your delegation from the ministry. There is also a Justice of the Constitutional Court, Justice Mbuyiseni Madlanga, who is an alumni of Walter Sisulu University. I want to slightly up. So, Kupi Judge as a Concord. Kubeko no kumkan Damase and Damas. That's about figure now kumkan. Ufigile ukumkan. Kaloku xa ukumkan ekhona befana basibona ngembongi. Asikayibona imbongi. So inobuseza ke ngokumkan. Bekho nami ke andizosibiza ke mnakhe. Kodwa ke niyandazi bana njengosihlalo webhunga elikhokheleyo. Mahluko ke between ukuphatha nokukhokhela. Bakhona abantu abaphetheyo into zonto nzima. Into zojaca thina sikhokhele. Big difference. Nenqununu yesikolo uProfessor Songa Ntombi yasemampondomiseni ke le nijonge kakuhle. Ingathi nosekela speaker into kaQhoboshiyane bengike ndayithi chair ngathi khona ke nayo. Siyabulisa Mntungwa. No MEC wezemfundo into kaGade. No mayor wesisiqithi uNgqondwana. Kuthiwa ke no mayor wase King Sabatha ulapha naye uCouncillor Nelane. Nabanye ke abaphetheyo kwi-industry. Thina ke aba bantu baphetheyo bahlala apha kuthi kwi-council asibaboni nje kude. Sinento zofuzile ezilapha kwalapha kuthi kwi-council. Nento zo Dr. Tebelelo uyaziwa ke ngalamcimbi wakhe. Ndizuthetha kuba uthini umcimbi wakhe. Kodwa uyaziwa. Nento zo Jarhana sezisuka ko-SAA. Ziphethe ke kodwa apho ziphethe khona. Balapha kwi-council ke. Ne-convocation yethu ke uDr. Mantashe ukhokhele ke pha. Sike sabona ke nesigqeba sakhe sikhona. Namalungu onke e-council funeka loo nto lesimane siyi-emphasize. Council xa ikhona funeka i-acknowledge. Cace into yobana umcimbi uvulekile. Nabahlohli staff nabafundi students. There is no university actually without our lecturers, without our doctors and professors. Less so without our students. Unit require, I don't know why I say unit require, what kuthiwa yintoni igama layo? Okay, hayi ke. Ndinivile. Kodwa ndiyakhumbula ndiselapha unit require ke yoperforma ngapha eGermany. Seke nisho kuvisi aniseGermany nani? Umamel. Visi, it has been approved. Manene nani manenekazi. And nawe ke Mamthembu. Miss Nonkululeko Gobodo. Chancellor wethu ongenayo. So it is my greatest honor to welcome everyone today. I have great memories of this university. Even this very auditorium. I used to attend many meetings here as a leader of the students. We are extremely proud, Madam Chancellor, that ungumntana womgquba. You are the daughter of the soil. Ungumamthembu, ungqolomsila, uyemyem. Sithi ungoqhudeni. Yes. Hayi ke ndive lena ngo andizoxela uba ndive ngabani na. Not only are you a product of the region, you are also a product of this university. There is something salutary in the fact that your university was established at a particular time and for a particular purpose. Yet, in more than 40 years of its existence, this university has outgrown its original mission of educating a civil service for the Transkei Bantustan. It has defied the trappings of apartheid to become a central voice in the higher education sector in South Africa. We might then ask ourselves how this was possible. How has it been possible for a university created to serve apartheid, instead to serve a new South Africa, which is the antithesis of apartheid? And one of the ways how this university has achieved this has been the simple reality that when the new South Africa was born, it did not have a bureaucracy of its own. It had to depend on the graduates of black universities to serve the goals of the new South Africa. Indeed, our own graduates are in local government, in provincial government, and in the national sphere of government. Some of them are in other branches, in the provincial legislature, in the national parliament, and indeed in the judiciary. But these have not been the only spheres, in other words, the public sphere, that we have seen the presence of our graduates. We have also seen our graduates in the professions. Take, for instance, the legal profession, the medical profession. But today we are inaugurating someone truly special. And when we use the word trailblazer, we usually do so lightly and perhaps without reflection. But this morning we have a real trailblazer. The accounting profession is not an easy profession to enter today in 2023. Many black aspirant chartered accountants struggle to gain entry, and when they have entered, indeed, to make progress upwards. And now, to place this in perspective, when you consider that you, Madam Chancellor, became a chartered accountant in 1987 at the height of apartheid, it becomes truly remarkable what you achieved. Given the structural barriers that you have faced, it is a great achievement that you became a chartered accountant in the first place. That you were the first African female to do so in a world dominated by white males fills us, as the leaders of this university, with a lot of pride. We are therefore honored that you were able to accept our invitation to be the titular head of this university. We trust that your mere presence will be enough to show our students that their current circumstances should not determine their future, that they are also able to rise to the very top of their chosen professions, and that it is okay to have big dreams, and that the future is for them to make. And there is something meaningful in the word inspiration. When I was a student, I did not know what would become of my own future. Indeed, I had no idea that a person who looked like me, came from my own background, could even make it in life. I had never seen a lawyer. No doubt many of us who want to be doctors have never seen a doctor or a CEO, or for that matter, a chartered accountant who speaks their own language, onesiduko, who eats the same food as us, and who looks like us, who has the same hair as us. But today, when I look at our incoming Vice-Chancellor, I can say with some pride that I have someone who just looks like me. I have someone that I could have aspired to become when I was a child. And so many of us and many of our students who are in accounting and other professions can look at you, Madam Chancellor, and say they too want to be like you. So WUSU is proud to have been blessed by your presence and your acceptance of the honor. We are also proud to have been blessed by the presence of top national and provincial leaders. The university aspires to continue playing a developmental role in our country. We want to contribute to the reconstruction of this country from the ashes of apartheid. We know that it has not been an easy job to rebuild this country from apartheid. In fact, it is an understatement to say this has been a challenging task. What we need is a new class of Mandarins, a class of highly skilled, highly educated, but deeply committed to the idea of South Africa, young and new graduates. We are, as a country, experiencing signals of social, political, and economic disintegration. We have high rates of youth unemployment. We have an astonishing level of crime. We have a high level of embedded structural inequality and poverty. And our region, the former Transkei, which is where our head office is located, is one of the first affected by the challenges of crime, unemployment, and inequality. So that means our challenge is vast. But your example, Madam Chancellor, has shown us that the answer is not to throw our hands in the air at the depth of the problem. The answer is to confront the problem slowly. The answer is to confront the challenges with dedication. The answer is to confront the challenge with patience. But we should be armed with the weapon of education. So namhlanje ke sithi untshu kuwe, Madam Chancellor, sithi siyabulela ngeli lunda usinike lona lokokubana ukwazi ukuthatha esi sihlalo. Sithi ke baninzi abafuna ukufana nawe. Sithi ngobukho bakho baza kuyibona into kokubana ayonto inzima ukufana nawe. Sithi ubukho bakho kule university kusipha ilunda kunjalo nje kwenza ukubana siyazi into okubana nathi ngenye imini sawuntinga sifane nentaka. Ndiyabulela.
I didn't know that this fellow advocate Mthatha is taller than me. I've just discovered, sadly. I could just conveniently say I rise on the protocols that he went through, but I think that it would be good, Chairman of Council, to add where you left off, but pick a few people that you also acknowledged, not because I think that those that I will not repeat are not as important, but we've got to save time. And in my case, then, I will start by acknowledging you because you couldn't acknowledge yourself, Advocate Tembeka, not Tembeka. It's not forgivable when it's mispronounced here. Maybe in Joburg they can call him Tembeka, which feminizes the name. There's nothing wrong with it. He could just have been a good female, but Tembeka Ncukaitobi, the VC, Unkosu Ndamasa Ndamasa ude wafika bethu. Akafiki ke masiyishiyeke lo ndawo. Kukho ke abanye abantu apha that I thought it would be good to also acknowledge. Sinikelene ngolo hlobo no advocate. Umfundisi lo mzekelo bethuna bese isithandazele kamandi uDr Mthatha. Ndiyabona apha phakathi kwabantu kukhona abalingane bakhe uchancellor wethu lo mtsha. Ndiyababona abanye ndingababiza ngamagama ntwana uzuyenza loo nto baninzi. Usapho lwakhe lulapha. Jonga ngapha ndiyalubona. Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. I'm sure baneqhayiya nabo ngaye. Inkokheli ke zopolitiko sibonile mntakaQhoboshiyana. Apha ke phakathi kwethu bethuna sine ingwele intsika i-principal yam uprofessor uNkuhlu nonkosikazi wakhe. Naye ndithi mandim acknowledge on behalf of yethu sonke. Phakamela indawo elula ukuintroducer uMamthembu. Ndim introducer ndiguidwa by something that was written for me. If it has got flaws, because she's very well known here, don't blame it on me. I will tell you when I say my bits and I will get them right. Usis Nonkululeko Gobodo is the CEO of Awakened Global, a social initiative. She is the former chairman and founder of Sizwe Ntsaluba Gobodo, now known as SNG Grant Thornton, the largest black auditing and accounting firm in SA. Next time when you really want to clap, go for it. Thank you. As the chairman of council had said, she is the first African woman to qualify as a chartered accountant in SA, as far back as in 1987. She is an author of a book, Awakened to the True Self, to My True Self, which was launched in October 2022. In 2011, she played a key role as one of the leaders in the successful merger of Gobodo Incorporated and Sizwe Ntsaluba to form Sizwe Ntsaluba Gobodo, which later, of course, merged with Grant Thornton. This was a monumental advancement that changed the landscape of the accounting profession, in South Africa, ushering in a new era of economic transformation. Sis Nonkululeko started her career as a junior lecturer here at WUSU, formerly known as University of Transkei, in 1984. She proceeded to begin her training as an accountant with KPMG in the Mthatha office. Subsequently, she joined the Transkei Development Corporation, TDC Lower Nepal, as the CFO. In 1992, she established her own accounting practice in Mthatha, in the Eastern Cape, where, by the way, several accountants that you might have met in your life got trained, had a chance to be trained to qualify as CAs too. She expanded the practice in 1996 to form Gobodo Incorporated, which had offices in other cities in South Africa. She serves on the boards of PPC Limited and ShopRite Holdings, which are listed on the JSE, and Lisaka Technologies, which is listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, and was appointed, as all of you know, as the Chancellor of WUSU in April this year. Her career has been the subject of case studies by the Business School of the University of Witwatersrand in SA, Nelson Mandela University, and Lincoln University in New Zealand. She has received the following awards: Forbes Woman Africa Businesswoman Award by Forbes Africa in 2023. On this one, maybe you can wait for me to finish. Forgive me. Platinum Award at the BBQ Awards in 2016. Pioneering Entrepreneur Award by the Black Business Council in 2016. Lifetime Achievement Award, Excellency in Accountancy at the SA Professional Services Awards in 2014. Outstanding Woman in Business and Award at the BBQ Awards in 2014. Businesswoman of the Year at the Standard Bank Top Women Awards in 2014. You might be tempted to clap, but don't. Lifetime Achievement Award by Abasa in 2011. Woman of Substance Award by the African Women Chartered Accountants in 2010. I thought Gebetuna zakwenza lento, because if you look at the program I have, people have got time allocations. I happen to be the only person, just one, who was not given time allocation. I think they did their research about me. I worked with politicians, Ota Tukoboshiana. The one thing we can do is talk. I'm also a teacher, so I used to be paid to talk. But I thought I would say one or two things about, and I won't be long. Lo mntu endimintroduce apha kuni yintombi yomgquba, yintombi yomthonyama, ngumntu walapha. Ngumntu walapha. Now, nendixolele ke abantu ngelinye ixesha baye bacinga into yoba xa unemincili uthethe ngabantu baloo ndawo yakuni ubakhuphela ngaphandle, you are becoming tribalistic or regionalistic, something like that. But kule nto uba ndinayo indawana yobugagu ndiye ndiyicele luxolo kodwa ndiyithethe loo nto. Kuba xa sizawungabi naqhayiya thina, xa sizawungathethi ngelo qhayiya lethu xa sinalo, ngubani ke bethuna ozawuthetha ngalo, so that asithethi kuba sitala kuphela, notala okusinako, but sithetha because sisenzela into yoba aba bantu bancinci ndibabonayo bahle phaa ifuture yabo esengaphambi kwabo mabafilishe uba nantoni nabanqwenela uba yiyo, it's within their reach, it's achievable. If as far back as 1987, before many of you at the back there were born, someone, a black woman in apartheid South Africa, leave this little corner that existed as a funny country, but 1987, someone could aspire to and pursue a dream yakhe of becoming a chartered accountant. No, kwimincili yam funeka ndisuke ndithethe mamthembu. Ndithethe mvelasi. Uyabona? Ewe. Funeka siyivuyele bethuna xa abantu bethu besawuphumelela babuye bezapha. Uncuka ithoba ngakuxela namsokolisa gqithi uza apha kule council, because i-problem esiyenzayo ndiyafuna uyithetha le nto apha esidlangalaleni kuba xa u-associate nee-institutions zethu esinamabhongo ngazo uba newari yoba i-reputation yakho yakhe nzima over years could just be tainted kuba nina sometimes students uba futhi nifuna ukulwa nidibane nam phandle ninento yokuthi ngelinye ixesha xa nilwela amalungelo wenu nisike nitsibe beyond into yokuzi-expressa ngala freedom of expression ethethwa phaa kwi-constitution nisi-embarrass. Uyayibona? The consequence then kuba ungafuni uassociatwa nendawo. Siyayibulela ke mamthembu into yoba uvume uzoba yi-chancellor lapha with all the impeccable credentials that you have built over years. You are prepared to come back and plow back and be associated with the institution. Sikunye apha sizawubambanani ngezandla sakhe le university yeyethu.
okundiza hayi 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 bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi andinawo amandla okundiza hayi 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 bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi andinawo amandla okundiza hayi 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 bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi bathena lahla imboya imama boyane bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi bathena lahla imboya imama boyane bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi andinawo amandla okundiza hayi 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 bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi andinawo amandla okundiza hayi 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 bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi andinawo amandla okundiza hayi 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 bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi bathena lahla imboya imama boyane bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi bathena lahla imboya imama boyane bathena shiya bazali okungaqondi.
Chairperson of Council, I wish to confirm that all the provisions of the Act and Statute with regard to the appointment of Chancellor have been followed to the latter, and that Ms. Nonkululeko Gobodo is duly appointed as Chancellor of Walter Sisulu University.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I request the University Registrar to robe and present the Chancellor.
Kodwa nakumbona omhle phambi kwethu kumntana omquba lona bayahleka kumnandi kwilonto banqumile ubona nihleli phansi nonqumo amadolo ayafa umkhithi kodwa ke thina sizalo sihlakule siyalwazi udongo makhwenkwe benithunywa ngasendle ukuthi amakwethini buya nodongwe wakhe inkomo bayibhidlize nonkomo ibembi izolo beyakhiwe namhlanje ivukile izolo ibinhle namhlanje imbi umzansi subona ezandleni zenu nansi intombi omquba mntanami ayisenhle yasifuna
Chairperson of Council, I present the Chancellor to you.
By virtue of the authority entrusted in me, I have the honor to invite the Chancellor to read the inauguration oath of office.
I, Nonkululeko Gobodo, solemnly declare that I will faithfully carry out my duties as Chancellor of Walter Sisulu University as prescribed in the statute. So help me God.
By virtue of the authority entrusted to me, I declare Ms. Nonkululeko Gobodo inaugurated as the third Chancellor of the Walter Sisulu University. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fulela kwanetha. Fulela kwanetha. Bizwana makudeni. Kubizwana ngosa kamkhubukeli. Kubizwana sandla ngqa njengenyamazana. Yivani kaloku sizwe namhlanje nivise. Yazini kaloku namhla madoda andinazise. Anifana ndinivisa nje. Aniqondi nandiniqondisa nje. Ithe yafika le mini ebesikade silindile. Uthe wafika lo mhla bekudala siwulangazelela. Anazi yivana pha kum ndinazise. Sikwiyunivesithi esaziwa uba ngoba yaseTranskei. Kulaa sidanga semfundo zibomvu, zimnyama, zilihlaza, zezegolide nesilvela. Naniphi ngexesha loKD Delonga. Naniphi ngexesha lamandulo. Yayifudula i-University of the World. Anazinto nina ndima zoniqondisa. Lo mntwana sizothetha ngaye ufundile ezalelwa eTranskei. Wafunda kwizikole ezifana neNdamase Senior Secondary School. Waphokokeka bemkonta ngandini babheka kwiiyunivesithi ezinengqondo abacinga njalo phofu. Wathi yena unothe ureverse wenantsike ngeke ndiyibize. I'm not gonna leave my home. I want to be a person. Yayinguprofessor Nkuhlu ngelo xesha. Untsinga lwazo wayikhokela apha. A first vice chancellor. Yokuqala, a first black man. Opasisidanga sokuphicotha incwadi ukuze amasela akwazi ukuwagada angayibi imali. Yafunga le ntombi yathi if a man can take a position, even a woman can take the same position. Yakathula ukuba uProfessor Nkuhlu ngokuqala emadodeni. Yawuba ngokuqala ebafazini uba yi-CA. Yaphuma le ntombi yasithi ga isifuba yaqala isifombo sibale kucinywa. Yemka yayovula indawo ekuthiwa yabaphicoti bencwadi. Siyayazi kwakuthiwa intsaluba endintsaluba 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 endintsaluba. Yasiphicotha le ntombi incwadi, bathi abantu abadla imali baphaqwa. Kuphuma bani kaloku kweziyule university? Basuka apha kaloku jaji presidenti. Ndithetha ngobani? Xa ndithetha ngamadoda amakhulu asiphicotho somthetho, into zomadlanga, into zombenenge, nabanye. I can mention all of them, but because of a time, I can't do nothing. We are here today. Sizothi imbali yaphinda-phindwa. Kaloku umntana osalelwa apha umbona uvela amagqabi abe mabini. Aba mahlanu amagqabi kuvela isikhwebu. Akuqale ngovela isikhwebu, uqale kuvele le nto kuthiwa ngumphurhu. Siyophuleka thina amakhwenkwe siwuhle. Zivela inkoso sidla amaghamza. Avela amathanga omgila sidla amapholo. Ithanga elaziwa ngoba nguJotho alidliwa njengepholo. Lo sisikhwebu sombona esithe sahluma sangumbona ombovu kule ndawo. Vumani bafazi nditsho ndithi malibongwe. Xa ndigoduka mhlekazi, I was sick and tired. During the time, somebody told me that the former University of Transkei is gonna close. Abuza, niphi mantombazane benifunda apha nje? Namhla siyavuya kuthiwa intombi ezoba yichancellor. I don't even know what is the meaning of chancellor, but I want to know that. Kodwa into endiyaziyo mntanam, unkulu uprofessor Wiseman wathula umnqwazi phezu kwentloko yakho wakubhula wathi today you are qualified chartered accountant. Today you are going to pull another people today. Usuncedeke mntanam, ubaxelele kwezi university, ubabise kwi-University of Natala, ubabise kwi-University kwaSomgxatha eThikeni, ubabise kwi-University yase-South Africa, uzibise zonke iprofessor, uthi mabake bandiphi isithanga sibe sinye nam ke ndiphulwe nguwe mntandini. Ndiyazicelela nina nisindile ekhaleni, hambani ningemi. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me tell you the last thing. Without education, you go nowhere. Education is a spear to open any door closed. Yekani ukusela utywala xa nise-university, nithe nihlale iminyaka ibe ngaphezulu kwesixhenxe ngongathi nizofundela ubugqirha kodwa nizokwenza diploma because you forgot about what you are coming to do. Masiembo, Mamthembu, Thukela, Bafane, Mlamba uwelwa sisizwe esikhulu. Kasi liyakaka kwimpundulusa abathakathi. Nonguthuzi yamcekisa sakumhla sitshabelela uthongeni. Flexibility, responsibility of the community, community builder, community development. Tondine nomlomo mfamfam ngathi sisiponji. Tondine nobusobu tamtam ngathi simpundu somntwana bezalwa izolo. Kasi liyakaka kwimpundulusa abathakathi. We know that you are going to take this university from down to up. As you understand that igama lamakhosikazi ikhokhelwa ngumfazi le university. Namhla ichancellor nguwe. Into ecela intoba ngiphinde kuhlala omnye umfazi kule ndawo. Akeme kancinci amadoda awuphinda akhokhele ngexesha layo. Theham, thentshotsholo, thayikoko.
Hayi ndiyayibona. Uyayibona ke inje ke into yamaXhosa. I-inauguration into yesilungu. Once ufaka amaXhosa kubanje. Kuba bekufanele uba ndiseyapha kudala 10 minutes ago. Ndizowubiza uMamthembu bazothetha nathi. Into enayo ke njengoba nam ke ndingumntana omgqubu ndiyayazi uba imbongi xa seyiphethe umboko awungeni ndawo. Thuluthi caka ukuba iyawujika imbongo le ithethe ngawo. So vala umlomo if you know what's good for you. Kodwa ke sesisiya ngasekugqibeleni. Ibhalwe ngesilungu ke le part. Kodwa ke ndizake ndithethe ngesiXhosa. Le funeka ndiyenzile. Ndinethemba ke intoba registrar izawuba compliant with the statute. Ndinelunda lokubiza uchancellor wethu omtsha azowuthetha nathi kwesi sidlangalala.
My light into my light. Before ndingene kwi-formal speech bethuna, nyanga yomama le. Nam ndingumama. Ndifuna ke introduce abantwana bam. I was 34 when I divorced with 3 young kids. Ndabakhulisa ndodwa. Balapha ngoku badala. Nabazukulwana bam. Zababiza ngamagama neninyamezele. Ugcina ikhaya bathi ngokhaya ngipha. Kodwa ke ngugcina ikhaya pha ekhaya ngicela phaka. Yima ndikagqibi. We-MD of Wealth yase Old Mutual wenza le nto kuthiwa yi-investment banking. Ungutata ke wabantwana ababini, uMasa, Phakama Masa, noKhwezi, Phakama Khwezi. Ningahlala phansi ke. Alandelwe nguChule. Phakama uChule. Only girl. She's the creative one ke phaya ekhaya. Owenze into zefilms singazi-understandiyo thina. Urana ikhampani ekuthiwa ngu-Brainbow Conscious Creatives. Utshatile ke noQuintin, cela phakama uQuintin. Banomntana oyi-1 onguMalibongwe, ngicela phakama uMalibongwe. Intombi yam ke ekuyona yodwa bethuna, ningahlala phansi. Ogqibela ke ngumNweba, cela phakama uMnweba. Ngumtsayiko. Umnweba ke yena wenze ilaw ligqwetha. Kodwa ke akapractice, urana ikhampani yakhe ekuthiwa ngu-ENT Minerals. Benze into sikhumshileyo kokuthiwa zii-mineral trading, ndingazi-understandi kakuhle nam. Ungahlala phansi Mnweba. As we celebrate Women's Month, let's think about all those single women who are raising children alone like I've done. The Deputy Director General of Higher Education and Science and Innovation, Dr. Marcia Sotrikwa, and the delegation from the ministry. His Royal Highness, and then whatever Konana King Dabase Kandamase. Oh, Kona, okay. Kosikazi, Nosizwe, Nolusindiso, Mthatha, and all traditional leaders present here today. Chairperson of Council, Advocate Tembeka Ngukaindobi, and all council members present today. The Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Roshila Nolundi Songa, and all university management. Deputy Speaker of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, Honorable Koboshiane. MEC of Education in the Eastern Cape, Mr. Gadi. Executive Mayor of OR Tambo District Municipality, Councillor Ngondwana, sorry, Executive Mayor of King Sabata Dalindyebo, Councillor Nelani, Captains of Industry and CEOs, Walter Sisulu, University Convocation, Walter Sisulu, University staff and students, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. I acknowledge Professor Nkuhlu nonkosikazi wakhe abazondikhunga apha namhlanje nabantu abasuka eSaika bakhona nabo namhlanje. Yes, thank you so much for coming. Nezihlobo zami zonke ezikhoyo. Ndiyabulela kumuntu wonke okhoyo ozondikhunga today. Ozosupporta si Walter Sisulu ngale mini inkulu kangaka yethu. I'm really deeply honored. I'm really deeply honored and blessed to be appointed the Chancellor of my alma mater. You can't even express the kinds of feelings that you have about this appointment. Bandiphatha ke bandiyeka. Ngaba ngatshona ndivela, hayi bandiphatha. But ekugqibeleni I thought, if andibe ngubani bebendiproducile nje. Bafama bawufuna phi le Chancellor bebendiproducile nje. Life works in very strange ways, actually, in cycles that are very strange. Because I was a student here doing my BCom degree. You know, a student just trying to figure out life, hoping that my education will transform my life and open doors for me in the world. And then, after I completed my BCom, I was approached by the Department of Accounting to come and serve as a junior lecturer. Because Professor Ryan, who was the head of the accounting department, was going on sabbatical. I took up the opportunity, because I wanted to have a second baby. Serving here as a junior lecturer at that young age, I didn't even have a senior degree of any kind. I was really honored by that. And it really opened my mind being among intellectuals. You know, just introducing you to this world of academia and just building you as a professional. I always credited for all the successes that I've had, that rebuilding that I got when I was very young. So I served full-time for 2 years, and then for 18 months, I was a lecturer part-time. And I always feel less guilty, Prof. Nkulu, that I didn't continue to develop chartered accountants at an academic level because I served my time. But I do, of course, continue to contribute to the pipeline of Black chartered accountants in other ways. So when I started articles, I was a more mature professional. I was not like your average first-year trainee. As a result, I got promoted very young because of that grooming that I got when I was here. I've had the privilege of being part of the WUSU graduations in May. That gave me the first experience of the university and its culture. For me, culture is very important because if there's no cultural fit, you're not going to be happy in that place, whatever it is. But I was pleasantly surprised. I received a warm welcome from everyone. You could have thought that I had been part of this university for a long time. And then during the procession song was Nonkululeko. It felt like I was in an African university, not Oxford, somewhere in England. And then I listened to the speeches of both the students and the academics who spoke, and I was comfortable that there's an alignment of vision here. And then I knew that God had brought me to the right institution. I'm still going through an in-depth induction process, but the few discussions I've had with some of the people within the university and the documents that I've read gave me assurance that there is a clear vision and mission here. The new strategy is very clear, giving direction to the university. I'm always impressed by a new leader who comes in and makes her own assessment of where the institution is, and then leads the development of a new strategy that will take the institution to the next level. The strategy talks about rationalizing faculties and consolidating programs and allocating them among the 4 campuses. WUSU has gone through many changes over the years. This started with the merger of the University of Transkei, the Border Technikon, and the Eastern Cape Technikon. Having gone through a merger myself, I can just imagine the kind of challenges that they went through. Merging a traditional academic university with Technikon. Besides the differences in offerings and levels, there is another element, which is the different cultures that must be merged into one culture. We all know that mergers fail because of cultural differences. But they've had an opportunity to go through the pain of integration. This indeed is the right time to rationalize and consolidate. Change is never easy because it's difficult, it's resisted, but the process has to be managed well with proper change management interventions being an integral part of the whole process. I can certainly bring my experience to bear to assist the university in this regard. But my most exciting part is the vision. The vision is an impactful, technology-infused African university. Wow. They could not have come up with a more relevant and befitting vision for Africa and this new world of the 4th Industrial Revolution. The strategy articulates what all the elements of the vision stand for. A vision is a very powerful thing. It gives direction, it shapes everything about the institution. I've already had a little bit of experience around the Africanist part during the graduation, but I will delve more on the technology element and gain more understanding of the strategy during my induction. When you look at where South Africa is today and where the rest of the continent is, you realize that it is time for a great change if we are to realize the dreams that we had as Africans when we had saw the end of colonialization. Education is one of those areas that need change. There's been a big cry for this change, even from students, as we can see from the movements in recent years. We need universities to be an anchor of the renewal of the continent. We need a WUSU that is going to impact the communities around it and the rest of the country. That, to me, is what all it's about. In fact, when we talk about impact, that's what it's about. I always say that academic institutions are sitting with all the research that we need to change society. Then academics have these great debates among themselves when there should be centers of knowledge for society. They're just enjoying their own party. But we can see now that there's a change in engaging with the community from what I've heard when I was here. The quality of students being produced should indeed be in a position to contribute to the Africa Renewal Project. I saw for myself during the graduation that the majority of students come from poor backgrounds. There's an urgent need to address the problem of social inequality in South Africa. The strategy of WUSU seeks to ensure that their students reach the higher echelons. Oh, yes, okay, thank you. Sorry. The strategy of WUSU seeks to ensure that their students reach the highest echelons of society. We want to see black universities restored to their former glory of producing leaders for the continent, as we've seen in the past. I was really blessed to see a sea of graduates who are majority black graduating when I was here. That gave me real big hope for the transformation of our country. Education is the only real lever we have to transform South Africa. But we also see a sad trend of graduates sitting at home for years and not finding jobs. And for me, it doesn't make sense that graduates can sit at home together with those who have no education. That says to me, VC, there's something really wrong with our education system. If graduates can't come up with ideas like start a business or do something with their lives, we have to look into that. I see myself fitting very well with the vision of WUSU and the new strategy, and I can contribute a lot in realizing the vision and the strategy. I also hope to be an inspiration to our graduates who can realize that they can also achieve their own dreams. One of the roles that I see playing is to support the Vice-Chancellor. We have a situation in South Africa where women leaders are facing a lot of challenges. They work in environments that are hostile to them. They are expected to succeed while they are being undermined and challenged at every turn. Women deserve to be given space to lead like everyone else. And I'm not suggesting that we tolerate poor leadership from anyone, whether you're a man or a woman. The cost of poor leadership is high. But there is a definite unfair treatment of female leaders. The VC has a very big vision. The university has a very big vision. She should be allowed to implement it and leave the kind of legacy she would like to see leaving behind one day. I've spoken about this Africa Renewal Project. This is a passion of mine. When we saw the end of colonialism and apartheid, we had great hope that we're going to see social and economic transformation of the people of Africa. That hope has not been realized. Ghana was the first one to obtain liberation, and that was 60 years ago. Africa has been stuck since then. They have just not been able to realize this vision of economic transformation and social transformation in all of these 60 years. And I always wonder, why is that? Why are we not able to achieve this vision? And then I started to study projects of social change over the ages. And I realized that they are not straightforward, they happen in phases. So the end of colonialism was just the first phase, in my view. So I studied academic institution, yeah. If not, I'm very careful. But I studied some of these social changes, especially the ones around the 17th and the 18th century, like the end of the monarchy system, feudalism, the birth of science, those inventions that started and ushered industrial revolution. They happened over decades and phases. Even the industrial revolution went through over a century. The second industrial revolution started after the end of a century. So, indeed, I realized that we were mistaken to just believe that there will be sudden change just because we've ended colonialism. But we all know that we need something new. We need to change the social and economic situation in South Africa and Africa generally. There's also this agitation around the world, not just in Africa, to end racial and gender inequality. Freedom comes with responsibility. How do we then take forward this freedom to the next level? In my view, Africans themselves are the only ones who can usher in a new era and take freedom to the next level. And whenever I think of this, I ask myself, so I worry, how do people who have been conditioned to believe that they are inferior and incapable bring about this something new? We really need to rethink our approach to social transformation. So when we complain about the slow pace of transformation, who are we complaining to? Who are we expecting to champion this social and economic transformation of our people? We know the story of the Afrikaner, that they were poor, they lived in slums, they also had a low social status in society. The English didn't respect them, but they didn't complain. They championed their own transformation. When you look at them today, we forget that history. So I have hope that we also can champion our own transformation. We know that there are myths that were created about Black people, that they are inferior, weak, incapable, lazy, and all the things that were said. We all know that myths are not true, ne? They are not real. Before 1652, when all these things started, Africans were living here. Normally, they never saw themselves as Black and inferior. There was no issue of white people who were superior to them. What I call the illusion of Blackness. The truth of the matter is that we are all conditioned, Black and white, by the society in which we grew up. This generation, Black and white, have never seen anything normal. We don't know what normal looks like. So when we talk about creating something new, we're talking about creating something that we've never seen before. But the winds of change are blowing. And when they start blowing, when that fire of change is lit, you can never stop it. It can be resisted. There could be wars. It could take a long time to achieve, but you cannot stop that fire. Look, where is feudalism? Where is slavery? Where is colonialism? So these winds of change that are blowing, no one is going to stop them. But how are we going to respond to these winds of change? Are we going to watch and just see maybe they land somewhere? Or are we going to engage with it and direct this wind so that it lands where we have determined? The people of Europe engaged with the winds of change. They did not just let them blow and land wherever, you know. But of course, I mean, I'm very clear in my mind that these winds of change are not just directed by human beings only. God is very much behind them all. It is time that black people own and lead their own social and economic transformation. No one is going to do this for them. The way I see this, guys, is that, sorry to say, guys, this is a university. I'm a natural speaker. Hey, yabona, ndipitsekile ngondipitsekile. If you take South Africa, for instance, it is only the middle class and the educated class, both black and white, who are our only hope to drive change. But right now, they don't see this as being their role. They are very comfortable. You know, they have a seat at the table, they're sharing in a piece of the pie. But the truth of the matter is that they are not really free. Because there's this stereotype of black person, and you are expected to fit into that stereotype. And when you don't, there's backlash. So what do? They choose to abandon themselves in most cases. Because they need the job. It's that human need, you know, for safety and security. But I want to remind you about the story of Zimbabwe. That country also had its middle class, but when this country started to deteriorate, they left. They are now part of the diaspora. They left their beautiful homes and cars back there. We are seeing our own country going the same direction. If we don't wake up, we are going to leave those beautiful homes and those beautiful cars behind and be all over the world like everybody else in the continent. That is the truth. There's already a brain drain happening in South Africa already. So for me, South Africa has come to a crossroads. Are we going to continue to disengage? Are we going to allow our country to go the way of the rest of the continent? Or are we going to wake up, fold our sleeves, and get on with the job of saving our country? Again, universities are also a major lever for this social change. Social scientists say that education determines the social security, social rank, and the extent of social consumption. There cannot be any major social change without education. Education gives people a chance towards social mobility. So black people must take the responsibility of releasing themselves from the limiting beliefs that have been socialized by society. We've been talking about releasing ourselves from slave mentality for many years as Africans. What is stopping us from doing it? Black people must start that long journey towards finding their true selves. And they cannot find their own creativity and create a new world for themselves without finding who they truly are. Until you appreciate the dangers of a conditioned mind, we will not try to deal with it. When you are conditioned, you accept whatever the idea is as truth and reality. You do not question it, you act and behave according to the idea. And we are conditioned and socialized by many human systems. Culture, tradition, religion, colonialism, racism, patriarchy, and inner self-talk, those things that you say to yourself, they shape your reality. So when I go back and look at that social change of the 17th and 18th century, those people who are said to be peasants, who were locked in what they called estates into which you were born, because the society was divided into various class strata. So if you were born into that stratum, you couldn't move out of there. You couldn't move to a higher level. But those peasants are the ones who drove the social change of that time. And they became politicians, scientists, industrialists, who ushered in the Industrial Revolution. They could not do that when they believed what society had conditioned them to believe about themselves. Because they also believed that they were inferior, they were poor, they were not sophisticated like the aristocracy of the time. So when black people and women, I must add women here, are released from a conditioned mind, and the only way to do this is to uncondition the mind. You can imagine the kind of creativity we're going to see that will usher in this Africa we hope for. We need everybody to participate in this project of the Africa renewal and the end of racial and gender inequality. A whole new world is waiting for us on the other side, as we've seen in history. As I end, as black accountants, we had this deep sense of self-determination. We were very clear that we studied very hard. We qualified, we are chartered accountants like everybody else, and we deserve a stake. And we came together, formed the Abasas of this world, and formed what was called the Practitioners Forum. And we used to, come together and plan how we're going to advance ourselves as accountants, because why should we be in the fringes of the economy of our own country? And that was the driving force of not allowing a system to tell us who we are and where we belong and how far we can go, which is why accountants, among all of these professions, is the one that has achieved most, because we're very clear about who we are. And I'll leave you with that. And thank you to people like Professor Mkuhlu, who showed us, but why we could dream those dreams is because there were those trailblazers who showed us that it could be done. Thank you very much, Prof, for always being the kind of leader that South Africa needs right now, who is always leading from the front, even right now. Thank you very much.
President, how does level we attend? Motion go breakfast. 3 minutes, sir, please.
Oh, thanks very much. No, I have a program, Reg. It states that choir is there for Nipaga. So I was expecting Leai choir because Namdan Gendakule Junior High School. I was leading the songs there. But yeah, I took a sharp cave to join politics because we are living in a country where we are led by politicians. So that's why I chose not to continue with this thing of music. It's good, it's for other people. I'm happy that I'm given this opportunity just to send a congratulatory message to our new Chancellor. I think they organized this event strategically so because Inyanga Yamanin. The university vice chancellor is also in. I, Mapongo Maskole, as the president of Walter Sisulu University, Diazalwa Sunday, 13th of August. Kulenyanga Yamanina. Even the Secretary General of the ISRC, Nayo Yazalwa Ngalenyanga Yamanina, 12. So, Sialandelilan. I like to say thanks to everyone. Okwiskundla, Olinin. Because if you look at the history, Amanina are doing well, even Kwisok, as we speak, Amanina smell by as a country. I agree knockout stages for the first time. That is why there is this organization that always says Amanina must get equal amount because currently Bafana is doing nothing but Amanina smell. That's an honest reality. It's out there. So I'm happy to see Amanina cool. Even myself, I'm coming from an organization that simply says Amanina must be on top. Indeed, in Walter Sisulu universities, women are on top. I won't dwell much. A lot has been said. I'm only allocated 3 minutes. I think I've already exhausted my time. I would like to say to the new Chancellor, please lead this university with integrity. Currently, we are just doing well because remember, ever since I came here in 2019, there's been a publishment by the media houses, bad things about this university. I so wish they can come back again and say positive things about this university. Yesterday, we had a workshop. There was a question that was raised there when there was a professor who was presiding over who said the role of the vice chancellor is to raise funds for the university. Then the question comes, how are you going to raise funds for a university that is not stable? That's an honest reality. There is no one who can be interested to come and invest to something that is not stable. So I so wish you are going to work together with the VC to make sure that this university is being ranked under top 10 in Africa, top 5 in South Africa, top 20 in the world. We believe in you. Thanks very much.
There is a lot of prophecy about today's gathering. I don't know if you've noticed that you are wearing similar gowns, nomfundis. Behind you. And this we tag president kuba ndizalwa nge-16 August. Because of time, I'm very happy that we are only given 3 minutes. Ndivumeleni ndithi ingqanga nentsiba hleze ndidibanise indwendwe ne-visitors xa ndifuna ucalucala ukubulisa. Today marks a momentous occasion for our esteemed university. the inauguration of a new chancellor, a leader whose vision and passion will of course shape the future of this institution and guide us towards even greater heights of excellence. As the leader of this union, NEHAU, I stand before you with a profound sense of responsibility and pride, ready to celebrate this new chapter in our shared journey of knowledge, growth, and transformation. If there was a program director, I would say, program director, allow me, I think it's rich, to express our heartfelt congratulations to the newly appointed Chancellor, Sithi Unju Mamu Gobodo, Amba ungemi mbokodo yakowethu. Your appointment is a testament for your exceptional abilities, unwavering dedication, and a proven commitment to the values that will make this university an intellectual powerhouse. We have a full faith that under your leadership, Madam Chancellor, this university will continue to flourish as a beacon of knowledge, innovation, and inclusivity. As we celebrate this inauguration, ladies and gentlemen, it is essential to reflect on the profound impact of the university, or of what the university has had on our individuals and society at large. Universities are not just mere buildings. They are the heart and the souls of progress that enlightened and societal transformation. It is within these hallowed walls that young minds are nurtured, ideas are sparked, and knowledge is cultivated and created for a greater height and more enlightened the world. When I'm about to finish, as members of NEHAU, we have a unique responsibility to ensure that the voices of our colleagues and students are heard and respected. We are the advocates of the fairness and equity and justice. We are not apologetic, we are impatient to impartiality when it comes to the stakeholders of this institution. Therefore, we commit to work together with the new Chancellor and the university administration to foster an environment that cherishes the diversity, encourages an open dialogue, and celebrates the freedom of thought in pursuit of excellence and academic freedom. Madam Chancellor, our university is a tapestry woven from the ideas, dreams, aspirations, and the hard work of countless individuals. Faculties who dedicate themselves to the pursuit of knowledge, staff who tirelessly support the academic mission so that we can realize our vision and mission. We pursue the excellence. Each one, Madam Chancellor, contribute to the fabric of this institution. Today, as NEHAU and as workers of WSU, we reaffirm our commitment to the ideals of academic freedom, critical thinking, and pursuit of truth. Let us stand united, therefore, and face the challenges of our time. Challenges that demand collaboration, compassion, and unwavering dedication to the greater good. When I'm about to finish, Program Director, allow me to just say these few words to these few important bodies. Let me not use the word stakeholders, bodies. To the students, we say, embrace this in history, for it is you who carries the torch to the progress and the future. Let your curiosity be your guide, and let your passion ignite the flames of positive change in the world. To the faculties, which in most of the time are mostly less recognized, we say, your role as mentors and educators is profound and far-reaching. Empower our students to become the problem solvers and leaders of tomorrow. Your dedication shapes lives and destinies. To the administration of this institution, as led by Professor Songa, We say, lead with integrity, transparency, and commitment to the welfare of every member of this university community. Together, we shall overcome any obstacles that stands on our way. In conclusion, Madam Vice-Chancellor and Madam Chancellor, we say you are holding the mantle of leadership for this institution, and we trust in your abilities and inspire us and lead us. Your journey will be guided by the dreams and ambitions of countless individuals, and your decision will impact generations to come, and the responsibilities with humility, empathy, and a vision. If program director, I said anything wrong when I stand here, know that it's Mr. Ngizela Mzianda who said it. But if I said anything good, know that it's Nehao. I thank you.
Chairperson of Council, leadership of the university, all dignitaries, student leadership, labor, staff of the university, I'd like to greet you all. I won't be long, Reg, although I feel like bureaucracy is at play here. But nevertheless, I just want to pick a few points to say. Madam Chancellor, you come at a time where our country is grappling with gender-based violence. That is targeted at women and children. Madam Vice-Chancellor, our university is no exception from what has happened in Cape Town, from what is happening in UNISA, where women in leadership are under siege. Madam Vice-Chancellor came in and drove a strategy, progressive strategy, but she was under criticism and everything else that is there. But I was happy to hear that you are going to join forces with her. Because there's one thing I believe, I'll take it from you, to say a lot of communities are headed by women in our society. And those women are prayer warriors. And if you join forces together, you pray for this university together, you too shall prosper and you will leave a very, very progressive legacy in this university. I want to thank you.
I wish to rise on the protocol that has been cited by the latter speakers and to say to the Bishop, Pilango Napagat. My name is Sandy Sowagwambongo. I am the Institutional Forum Chairperson. We are invited into a prestige event of a former student, a former staff member of WSU, Nzalelwane Mthatha, and a WSU Chancellor. I wish to express that it is not a coincidence that this event is hosted in your hometown, Mthatha. I also wish not to express that it is not a coincidence that is hosted during the month where we celebrate the success and the leadership of women. I also wish to indicate that the month of August takes us back to the greatest speech that was made by Martin Luther King that said, "I have a dream." So I wish that on this month, all your dreams about WSU becomes a reality. I also wish to take you back to a month of August again and its significance to the invention of the Guinness Book World of Records. It was established on the month of August. So as you embark on your journey as the new Chancellor, also make sure that you break all protocols so that your journey at WSU is written in those books of world record like your professional career has been. Now I wish to take away the stigma that says the people who only contribute to intellectual debates are researchers and academics. I want to locate my message of support to the public intellectualism and how your role in the business will contribute towards the success of this university. Of course, that will need me to bring a bit of a context because we are in the state of a higher education sector. There are discourses around higher education from a global state, also a domestic state. One of which the issue of funding model becomes a problem in all universities. For the year of 2022, the public funding for students has been 48 billion rands. And in the year of 2023, it has declined by 10 billion to 38 billion rands. The implications of this are that many students will not afford fees to study in universities. As an entrepreneur, as a business person, your first focus point of control is to check how best you can assist the university to inject funds in order to improve its revenue. The second part is the issue of graduate debt. We know how it has forfeited many graduates from getting their certificates, and as such, there is a high rate of unemployment because they cannot get their certificates. This is a national challenge as well. It also speaks to WSU. Again, the point of interest from IF is to say, how best can we assist each other in making sure that we deal with this devil? The third point I wish to express is a point of governance. About 6 universities in South Africa, some of them have gone to administration because of poor leadership, governance. What is different then about WSU? We've got a role to make sure that the governance system and leadership system are in place to inspire confidence and trust among our stakeholders. Further on, the governance authority must be exercised in control of the strategic direction of the university. Then lastly, on the context, I wish to draw your attention again on the issue of stakeholders. It is your role to make sure that stakeholders are united. Stakeholders speak in one voice. And make sure that we acknowledge and appreciate the coexistence of different interests within the university. Now, Julius Nyerere, during his tenure as the Chancellor in the University of East of Africa in the 1960s, is very clear that to say the university has not been established for a prestigious purpose. It has been established to speak into the needs of the development of the society it lives in. One thing we should note about WSU is that it is situated in the rural heart of the province. It means that the context and the direction of WSU will not be the same as those universities that are privileged. The second advantage is that it gives us the first-hand experience of societal ills and challenges our societies and communities face. Universities like WSU hold a very strong point in the hearts and the mind of many people in the province. Therefore, this says this university will forever be a community university. It means that we have a responsibility of accommodating organic intellectualism, where people from different ages and genders come together to share ideas for the betterment of this university. And because of this role you are occupying, it then means that you are no longer having a responsibility for your own achievements. You have a responsibility of those that came before you. You also hold the hopes of those that are to come after you. Now, as I will be landing, you might forget everything I said today, but I wish to draw your attention to a very symbolic and powerful norm of our culture. every time you face a challenge, remember lamtu ekhayeni obizwa uMafungashe. There's a particular character at home which is uMafungashe. Mafungashe ke ngumntu ikhaya elifunga ngaye, kuba ikhaya lababalwa ngoMafungashe. Udla ngoba ngudadobawo abantwana abathi xa befuna impilo bayocela kudadobawo impilo. Mafungashe remains the rock nentsika yekhaya. Mafungashe zithi izinto sezingahambi kakuhle ekhayeni, uphethe ityeya yabantu bekhaya abalishiya kuye kwenzela uba iminqweno yekhaya ezange yenzeke ngenxa kaMafungashe. So you are going to be expected to play a role kaMafungashe as a chancellor to WSU. Grace it with humility. We also wish to say we acknowledge and appreciate the nomination by the convocation as led by Dr. Mandashe to nominate your name, and further appreciate Council for electing you as led by Advocate Ngogaitobi to be the Chancellor of University. Kamago.
Just to take a moment and acknowledge the presence of Professor Mosia, who is a current and interim Vice Chancellor and Principal of University of Pretoria. He is here with us. Also acknowledge Advocate Edward Lambani, the Registrar of University of Venda. Acknowledge Dr. Derek Swemmer, the former Registrar of Vets. Thank you.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the Chair of Council, siziva convocation sonwabe kakhulu kukubekwa kwakho apha Chancellor Gobodo esitulweni se-Chancellor yale University. Sivuyiswa kakhulu kuqonda into yokuba ubuqeqeshwe apha, ubulolongwe apha, uphekwe apha, wavuthwa uselapha, wahamba waya ezizweni, futhi ukhe wahlohla apha. Sikubona ke thina siyi-convocation njengomzekelo. Sikubona njengomzekelo wegalelo elenziwe yile University, hayi nje kwizwe lalapha eSouth Africa, but ezizweni. Siyazingca ke ngawe kuba ungomnye ofana noMpondo Sihlanjiwe abalolongwe kule University, osaziwayo, abantu abaphuma izandla bephuma kule University. Ukubekwa kwakho ke njengo-Chancellor we-Walter Sisulu University kusinika ithemba ngale University, kusinika ukuqiniseka ukuba abantu abajonge le University bacinga kakuhle ngayo, banothando ngayo, bayafuna ukuzayamanisa nayo. Siyavuya ke ngokuba uthathe inxaxheba yokuba uzokuba yi-Chancellor kule University. Indeed, to convocation, you are an image of honor, you are an image of excellence, an epitome of integrity and respect, and your magnificent social standing stands above dispute, and that is what we think is critical for anybody who is a leader. Your personal, historical struggles as a black woman, your movement from rags to riches, and the leadership in business that you've demonstrated and the global footprint of your business demonstrates the fact of your leadership and the texture of your beliefs do merit this ceremonial and ambassadorial role of Chancellor for which you have been chosen. We believe that your investiture marks an important era for some of the things that concern convocation, at the center of which is both fundraising and helping clear the student and graduate debt. The chairperson of the IF has indicated the extent of the problem nationally, but this problem is also global in nature. nationally we're sitting at over 16.7 billion debt for graduates. We think that having people like you in this university will certainly get us out of this malaise. Convocation, in connection to this, working with the university, has embarked on a graduate debt clearance project early this year in March, and it has succeeded to some extent with the help of the government of the Eastern Cape, the Premier Oscar Mabuyane, various sitters, businesses and philanthropic individuals, students, workers of WSU, management and council, and we should like to thank all of those individuals. These individuals and structures and bodies have helped us get off the ground, and we think that, and we believe and hope that your appointment as Chancellor will open many doors and help us clear the debt. We find this quite relevant in terms of what the institution stands for as an African university with values of Ubuntu, an institution that wants to make an impact in society, and we think that making an impact in the way of fundraising to clear these debts is quite a critical thing, because you hit two birds with one stone. On one hand, you enable the institution to increase its liquidity. On the other, you solve part of the social problem. So we look forward to interacting with you about this initiative and how it can be taken forward. Please receive our heartfelt congratulations.
Must also acknowledge the presence of Nkosi Phathekile Womisa, the presence of our former Dean of Faculty of Medicine, Professor Mazwai, the presence of Mr. Luxolo Khubushe, MD of Adapt IT. Thank you.
That being said, please allow me to say protocol observed. Incoming Chancellor, Ms. Nonkululeko Gobodo, I want to dedicate this congratulatory message to you. It is with profound pride and utmost honor that we come together today to extend heartfelt congratulations on your recent appointment as our esteemed Chancellor. Your exemplary achievements, exceptional leadership, and unwavering commitment to excellence have rightly earned you this prestigious position. And we are genuinely delighted to have you at the helm of our esteemed institution. You did say and allude to the challenges faced by women. And despite those challenges, we need to continue to forge ahead. Being a woman in South Africa is not a walk in the park. However, as we celebrate Women's Month, we find renaissance with this year's theme, which reads, Accelerating Socio-Economic Opportunities for Women's Empowerment, Building Back Better for Women's Improved Resilience. This theme has profound resonance with our celebrations today. Therefore, allow me to deconstruct this theme in the context of your life's journey, which stands as a testament to the principles it embodies. The first theme addresses the acceleration of socio-economic opportunities. This aspect emphasizes the urgency to expedite the creation of opportunities, not only for women, but also for the youth, in this case, across various socio-economic spheres. It acknowledges that despite progress, significant disparities in education, employment, entrepreneurship, and access to economic resources persist for women and youth in South Africa. To underscore this challenge, your approach to life and attempts to uplift the socio-economic opportunities for these disadvantaged members of the community. You addressed the issue of gender-based inequalities by intentionally choosing to hire second and third year students. And this underpins your desire for the acceleration of socio-economic prospects, especially for the youth. The second theme speaks to women's empowerment. Your story epitomizes the essence of women's empowerment. Inspired by South Africa's first black chartered accountant, Professor Wiseman Nkuhlu, you forged your path to become South Africa's first black female chartered accountant. This empowerment served as the impetus for your transformative initiatives, such as the Sizwe Nzaluba Gobodo firm, where you promoted economic transformation and empowered women, as evidenced by the significant women ownership or equity within that organization. The third theme is about building back better. This theme acknowledges the impact of various obstacles and setbacks encountered by women and the youth. These challenges include gender-based violence, femicide, lack of funding resulting in lack of access to education, and high youth unemployment rates. Our nation is hemorrhaging, notably in the education sector, as evidenced by the increasingly prevalent student protests across higher education institutions. During this year's Youth Day, you observed that in order to effect change, it is imperative to cultivate a mindset among youth and the young people that encourages them to utilize their knowledge and talents to generate employment. The last theme relates to women's improved resilience. The theme recognizes that women encounter unique challenges and vulnerabilities, urging efforts to fortify their resilience. Your journey has been marked by numerous challenges, yet your tenacity and determination have brought you to this pinnacle, making you an exemplar of resilience, consistency, and success. As Vice Chancellor, I take immense pride in acknowledging your invaluable contributions to the sciences, business, and education sectors. Honorable Chancellor, your appointment comes at a pivotal moment as WSU undergoes transformative changes, rationalizing faculties, consolidating campuses in pursuit of excellence. We see your presence as heralding an era of progress, innovation, and inclusivity for WSU. Your extensive expertise and experience are poised to propel us to greater heights, empowering our students to embrace knowledge, research, and societal impact with renewed vigor. As we embark on this transformative journey together, let us celebrate this momentous occasion with open hearts and boundless enthusiasm. Given your leadership experience, we are confident that we will flourish as a hub of intellectual excellence and a catalyst for positive change in various communities we find ourselves in. Your visionary ideas will empower us to overcome challenges, embrace innovation, and foster a nurturing environment for personal and academic growth. Esteemed Chancellor, we welcome you warmly into our university family, where we will endeavor together to foster inclusivity, construct bridges of knowledge, and create a brighter future for generations to come. In closing, please accept our sincerest congratulations on your well-deserved appointment as our Chancellor. I believe that together, if we work closely, we can achieve as much as we wish for, and indeed leave a legacy we can both be proud of. And I have no doubt that the Council and the WSU community, including labor formations, staff, student leadership, will walk with us through this journey of change and restoration of WSU pride. I thank you and I welcome you to WSU, Madam Chancellor.
Ewe, lento kakade into yalonto. Thina nto zaziyo asothuka nganto. Sithethe engqondweni sithi bekufanele sitsho kanye sithi bekumelo. Kuba bengenjalo bungaye kulunga. Ngako oko kwaqala ukulunga. I will say all protocols observed. It is a singular honor for me to be in this august occasion today. And I wish to just reflect the context in which this achievement was attained. And I'll start by quoting a young African woman poet in the US who writes in a poem, "The Hill We Climb," when she says, "We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we had, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious." That's Amanda Gorman. In 1987, we gathered in Braamfontein at the Protea Hotel as young women and men to launch the first student chapter of ABASA. The news of your qualifying as a chartered accountant inspired us, boldened us to carry that dream forward. The story of women in our profession at least takes 23 years in this country, from 1894 to 1917, when the first woman became a chartered accountant, Miss Elizabeth Kruger. So to understand this achievement, we need to go back in history and see the impact women have had and the position in which women have been put. In 1895, in the United Kingdom, a magazine called The Women's Signal quoted Miss Mary H. Smith saying, "Require of me what you require of a man. I will fulfill it," unquote. Despite that bold assertion in a male-dominated profession, it took 33 years from 1887 to 1920 when she was admitted as a member of the profession at age 75. This being a Women's Month, I also want to point out that it took women to change the complexion of our profession. A young black Jamaican called Lancelot Reynolds left the Caribbean to join a company that was a white-only company in the UK in 1956. As the only black man that was applying at the time to join that firm, all the partners and employees had to vote whether he is admitted or not. All men in that company voted against him admitted. All women in that company voted for him to be admitted, and that's how he became a chartered accountant. So as we understand and appreciate your achievement, we should also remember the impact you've had here at home in ABASA and in inspiring the African women chartered accountants to organize themselves 21 years ago. And I'm mentioning these things so that we can understand the challenges and the obstacles and the battles that you've had to wage to get here. So as I prepare to sit down, Amanda Gorman again graced Joe Biden's inauguration with a poem. And towards the end of this poem, he says, "We will rise from the sun-baked south, we will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country, our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light. If only we are brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it. We are grateful that you were brave enough not only to see that light, but to see yourself as that light. Because as the CEO of the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, I can say boldly that today we qualify more than 60% chartered accountants being those from the disadvantaged communities. That today we qualify more female African chartered accountants than we do male. And it is in no less measure due to your inspiration and your impact. We thank you and congratulate you on your journey. Thank you.
Ngiyambona ukhona uSpeaker weParliament uba uGqoshe. Ngenxa ye-flight arrangements ngizawucela uDeputy DG to come and give congratulatory message before Professor Nkulu. DG.
Good afternoon, all protocols observed. You know, when you're called DG, you know someone has forgotten your name. My name is Masya Sotikwa. I'm the Deputy Director General for the University Education in the Department of Higher Education and Training. Program Director, let me start off by saying that Minister was looking forward to joining all of you to this auspicious occasion and sharing this historical moment with you, your family, the entire Walter Sisulu University community, and South Africa at large. But due to other pressing engagements, he unfortunately could not attend. But I'm in the company of very strong men. The first being the advisor in the Minister's office, Mr. Ngama Nadela, and Honorable Letsie. I'm trying to see where you are. Please, yes, I hope they all see you. From the Portfolio Committee, Member of Parliament. Without him, ladies and gentlemen, there would be no budget for this university. And I must correct the misalignment of budget statements earlier in speeches delivered this morning. It is not 39 billion. It is 44 billion in the previous year, financial year, 47 billion this financial year, 51 billion next financial year. And you add that to what is given to universities in equal measures, it's over 116 billion that we give over a 3-year period to universities. So let me turn to my speech. I had to correct those few facts. We'd like to truly thank the Council of Walter Sisulu University for extending invitation to the special occasion of the installation of Ms. Nonkululeko Gobodo as Chancellor of the University. Clearly a well-accomplished woman in the month of August, the month for women. Happy Women's Month to you all, by the way. Walter Sisulu University is indeed the home of several countless inspirational leaders. Please allow me just to mention them, just to remind you one more time that you sit in the company of very great people here. Students, you have so many inspirational leaders before you. You are so fortunate. Judge Mbuyisile Madlanga of the Constitutional Court, Judge Mandisa Maya of the Constitutional Court, first female Deputy Chief Justice, by the way. The former Auditor General, and if memory serves me well, first Black Auditor General, Terence Ngedisi Nombebe. See, Wusu delivers first. Advocate, before I go, Dr. Numisa Jilata, who at 29 years is the youngest neurosurgeon in South Africa. All these notable persons commenced with their studies here. I think we have all spoken to the credentials of our new chairperson. But I must say, I think the one we should acknowledge is her excellent job as a mother in delivering her children here today. She's clearly a mentor in many ways, and it is clear that her children have followed her footsteps. They go where many fear to tread. I believe it was a stroke of genius for this university to select the Chancellor seated here before us. Her accomplishments locally and nationally and her credentials make her a perfect fit for the role she's assuming today. No doubt, her appointment as the Chancellor of this wonderful university presents enormous, enormous opportunities for this institution to tap into the networks for resources to contribute towards building a sterling future which must be felt and experienced by every student present here. Chancellor Gobodo, by returning to, I'll say WUSU for short, you do not only inspire millions of women and chartered accountants, you are truly an inspiration to WUSU students, to graduates who view you as an example of those who prevail and make significant contributions to society, regardless of their location or address. Both departments of higher education and training and science innovation and the minister wish you the greatest of success in your appointment. And we are looking forward to your continued contribution to the development of this promising institution. I think many have tried to explain your role. I'll sum it up as follows. You are a titular head of an institution, and this requires you to preside over all congregations, confer all degrees, and award all diplomas and certificates at graduations. The Chancellor provides leadership to the university, but is free of the burden of executive powers. I stress that. As a Chancellor, you're an ambassador, advocating to raise WUSU's profile, advancing its interests nationally and regionally and internationally. As the university's titular head, you have an important ambassadorial role for the university, working with the Vice-Chancellor and the Council Chairperson and Council to represent the university in the external community. You are also the co-fundraiser with the VC to ensure a third string income and that reserves, and I want to stress that, reserves are built to support longevity of this promising institution. It is by no accident that MIT in the US is sitting with reserves way over 34 billion, because it has a plan to educate for the future. Madam Chancellor, Walter Sisulu University enrolls over 30,000 students annually. We therefore must not underestimate the significance of the social and economic impact this university plays in this community and the country at large. We know that education provides the means for many in our rural communities to escape poverty. The department recognized the gap, especially gender-based poverty. And male and female postgraduates have different privileges in universities. We want to close that gap. We've introduced one program called the Next Generation Academic Program, in short, NGAP. Allow me to promote NGAP, and you'll understand in a few minutes why I'm doing so. The NGAP targets previously disadvantaged groups, especially Black women. It comprises a 3-year development program to acquire a PhD, an additional 3 years in any academic position. The department spends 2.5 million per participant to ensure maximum support is given to that participant to succeed. There's a young lady here at WUSU who recently graduated with a PhD in accounting sciences. Her name is Dr. Nomanyo Manyaka Rulwa, a beneficiary of the NGAP. She had this to say once she had completed: all my personal and professional development needs were taken care of. I attended and presented in international and national conferences. I am now a transformed individual compared to when I joined the program, especially with regard to my academic profile and understanding the tertiary education space. Close quote. The department is seeking to ensure that the number of doctoral graduates, such as Dr. Manyaka Rulwa, grows in multiples. So, in 2012, only 1,879 doctoral graduates entered our systems. By 2021, we had doubled that number to 3,574. It is noteworthy, Chancellor, that 1,643 out of the 3,574 were women doctoral graduates. Our goal is to target 5,000 doctoral graduates per year until 2030. That is Minister's KPI. It is also yours. 5,000 doctoral graduates. We are appealing to you, and I say this most earnestly, to call others to advance their studies and skills. Walter Sisulu in particular has to attend to its doctoral degree throughputs. It can do better. I don't want to tell you what your stats are, but you can do better. I know you can. And I know you can because in 2021, 49 females acquired their master's degree here at Walter Sisulu University. 49. They must be invited back to do their doctoral degrees, Madam Chancellor. If need be, Madam Chancellor, I will do my second doctorate with them right here at Walter Sisulu University. We want to show all of you it can be done. Recent studies concluded by the Department of Science, in short, we call it DSI, but Innovation and Technology, have shown that those who do their PhD have a 98% chance of being employed. 98%. I think you'll agree with me if we're to follow Benjamin Franklin's old adage, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. If you are still hesitant about doing your doctoral degree with Walter Sisulu University, think of those before us who were emancipated from poverty through education, and with the words of Horace Mann, who declared that education then, that is yesterday, beyond all devices of human origin, is the great equalizer of the conditions of men and women, the balance wheel of the social machinery. Do not forget that it is only in 1800s that women were allowed into university chambers. They came in numbers, and the numbers are only moving one way up. Be part of that number. Walter Sisulu University has immeasurable potential, and you can only see it when you look around this room. To surpass the Ivy League universities, our minister declared that he expects Walter Sisulu University to define its inherent advantages, the opportunities it can explore, and the needs it can serve, the areas it can lead over the next decade and beyond. Walter Sisulu University must not seek to be like any other that we have in our country. It must craft its own trajectory and its own unique identity and history. As government, we remain committed to the cause of supporting our institutions to achieve their mission. Hence our investments through the public purse, directed to infrastructure development to ensure conducive learning spaces. You will recall that 21 April 2023, Minister addressed the same audience on the occasion of the official opening of the new and renovated buildings here at the Mthatha campus. We are pleased that the refurbished halls are now fitted with ultra-modern technologies to enhance teaching and learning experiences of all students, including students who are living with disabilities. We need to fast-track the use of technology to develop smart campuses. And I could not but note all the former telco CEOs sitting in this room. You have no excuse, Walter Sisulu University. Yes, you have transitioned to smart boards. We want to see more. When we departed with the minister on 21 April, we were filled with hope that the university has reset itself, Chancellor, stabilized and focused. We felt relieved that its difficult past, which seemed to have overwhelmed it, has receded. A past where it operated on a council-approved deficit for over 5 years, and funds had been mismanaged until the university was placed under administration several times. So, Chancellor, you have arrived at the right time. A time when WUSU is on a positive trajectory, moving one way up. It would be remiss of me, Chancellor, through the department, not to comment on the corrupt elements who are distracting our universities from their core mandate. Since 2000, 16 independent assessors' reports have been compiled in response to government's failures across the universities. Constantly, work is underway to advance the establishment of ombudsmen at every university to ensure that the early warning systems of governance failures are detected and addressed as quickly as they arise. Secondly, it is disconcerting that the number of reports of violence have increased. Our campuses are becoming unsafe for women. Sadly, reports suggest that 10% of all reported rape cases come from our sector. That's an indictment. We require a multifaceted approach to deal with the various factors which enable and exacerbate gender-based violence at our higher education institutions. We must dedicate more of our efforts towards working with men, with our young boys, to address aggression towards women and all other stereotypes if we want women in this country, in this continent, to advance socially and economically. When men recognize women are indispensable partners in the economy and social fabric, so much more becomes possible through collective development, so much more. Furthermore, tendencies to use arson and destruction of university property are less than progressive, particularly, and I want to say that because we are looking at Walter Sisulu University very carefully, you are the second highest beneficiary. In other words, we give you, when we allocate funds, second highest is allocated to Walter Sisulu University. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity once again and on behalf of the department and all my colleagues to extend our sincerest felicitations on your appointment, which we believe is no accident in history, because I'm absolutely confident, especially after hearing you today, that you mean business. You are not here to play, not with anyone. You are focused on the vision of this university. We wish you the greatest success and fulfillment in your appointment, and we look forward to your contributions. Walter Sisulu University is indeed lucky. I thank you.
Deputy Chair of our council happened to have an emergency. Councillor Vuyane Jahana will take the responsibility. Number two, after Mr. Jahana, MEC Education, Honorable Gada, you will follow him. We will close by the presence of Professor Nkuhlu, our maker, as the last speaker.
Thank you, Reg. I am going to read the message as written by the Deputy Chair of Council without wasting time. The Chair always tells us that we must be combat ready, so I'm going to do my best. Firstly, it gives me great pleasure to extend Council's warmest congratulations to you on your appointment as the Chancellor of the Walter Sisulu University. Council trusts that your appointment will contribute immensely and lead the institution towards its vision of being an impactful, responsive and delivering future-ready graduates. The significance of your inauguration during the Women's Month is ostensible, as it serves as an inspiration to all who wish to take on leadership roles and make an impactful difference. Council acknowledges the extensive experience and skills you bring to the institution and believes that your wisdom is valuable towards the vision envisaged and will contribute immensely to elevating the Walter Sisulu University to even greater heights. As you embark upon your new role, Council assures you that the university stakeholders of as you embark on your new role, the Council assures you and the university stakeholders of the commitment to the university's mission to respond to societal needs in an ethical and sustainable manner. The university community is looking forward to working with you for the benefit of country's citizens and globally beyond the South African borders. Congratulations on your appointment, and Council wishes you every success in your leadership of the university. May your tenure be successful and rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson of the Council. Your established protocol is observed. As I was listening from one speaker to another, making reflections, I came to a conclusion, Chancellor, that indeed freedom is forever incomplete. One of the issues that informs my thinking, which I will just reflect on and leave the stage so that I don't consume much of your time. The elephant in the room, Chancellor, that needed to be dealt with is the collapse of the social infrastructure in the country. And I could make an observation that many of us want to deal with the manifestations and not the actual causes of this crisis that we're confronted with. Whether you look in terms of the ecosystem of governance that we are engaged on, whether you look in terms of the eradication of the work ethics within the public service itself, whether you look in terms of the values expected in some of the institutions that we take them with high regard, churches, for example, this question arises. And it constrains any form of government in achieving the targets that it sets for itself. And it constrains the capacity of the state intellectually to resolve the unresolved issues. Bendisonqena ke ukuthi Bishop mhlawumbi ingxaki kwehle amanzi kwanyuka inhlenge. Mhlawumbi ingxaki kwehle amanzi kwanyuka inhlenge. Because critical to how we deal with the issues of leadership at the level of the institutions that we lead requires a stature and a caliber of personnel that befits the office itself. And I'm proud today that we are indeed, Chancellor, directly and indirectly, the products of this institution. And it has created a bit of a leverage for the state in the form of the Eastern Cape government, at least to climb the ladder of success in the recent years. About 4 months, if I'm not mistaken, VC, we were in East London in IC. At the heart of the discussion between myself and yours was whether there is any basic elements and components in the so-called basic education and debt that are so basic so that the learning process indeed can be a learning in the true sense of the word. And whether there is any African perspective in the schooling system and the education philosophy that we have adopted in the country? And can that instrument resolve the problems of the African people in the best interest of building a coherent society that we seek to build? And I'm therefore adding to the congratulatory messages that have been said here, one issue that I would want to lift for all of us to go back and see how to assist this collective leadership that we are going to lead, Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor. PELS has already indicated in their research and report of 2019 that the developing countries are producing learners that are unable to read and write with comprehensive meaning. Now, sisesikolweni Musaba. Pha kwi-foundation phase kuthiwa siproduce abantu abangakwazi uyofunda nobhala. Now, xa bengakwazi ufunda nobhala with meaning, i-PELS report itsho, what kind of production must we then expect when they are here? And what kind of production and expertise must we then expect when they are employed elsewhere? So ndifuna ke sisondele kufutshane kwezinto ezinengxaki. Sizokwazi ukuncedisana in interpreting them. Again, Chancellor, high on the agenda now in the discourse in basic education, interestingly, the President has made a proclamation on the sign language. And when the President made that proclamation, Chairperson of the Council, I laughed. I laughed because we've got a backlog of ideas. We have been engaged on redefining the cause of the African people within the country itself and answering the question, whether can you resolve the issues of the past of this country without the introduction of mother tongue bilingual education? Now, kuvela ngoku sign language as a constitutional matter, asikayigqibi naleya into. Now, ndiyafuna ke VC and the Vice Chancellor and the Chairperson of the Council, because this is one of the institutions in this country that is rich in research. Yeke ke le uba ke singazisebenzisi as the universities we have, whilst they are regarded as the best universities in research in the country, almost 4 of them in this province. Yeke ke le uba ke siyozikhangelela i-consultant, nathi sikhona ukugqwetheka kokucinga kwalapha kuthi. Siyokhangela i-consultant ube une-arm ye-research that WUSU has, that can resolve some of the matters that we have. And I'm therefore saying it's going to be critical that we look very closely on the developmental trajectory of the province. One, what is the perspective of this institution in dealing with the oceans economy? As part of the pedestal that must enrich the province in responding to the provincial development plan. I'm raising this, Vice Chancellor, because 2 weeks back I was in Port St. John's. Ndiqhayiselwa ngomnye utata pha oloba i-crayfish ayithengisele umlungu waseKapa nge-70 rand. Yena lo mlungu xa efika ithengise eKapa yi-R1,000. Now, unetruck apha ezine-fridges apha ngasemva. In essence, it means colonization can change faces in various forms and shapes. Because asiboni into ifani kule nto yoba currently we were the champions, for example, of cannabis. But today we are being lectured by cannabis, by people who have never seen any form of cannabis, by the way. Now we must listen to them, lecturing us on cannabis, trying to dilute cannabis by hemp for one reason or another. Same thing that is happening on the ocean's economy, because we've got 800 kilometers square of ocean in the province. And the wealth of the country, in terms of the projections of the research, is in the ocean's economy for the next 50 years to come. And I'm therefore saying, how do we then diversify the curriculum and alignment of content so that it responds to that question? The unemployment rate of young people in the country and in the province is not an accident. Has been produced by system. And that system must be unbundled so that you can be able to learn out of the miseries that we have been able, that we have created collectively, so directly and indirectly, conscious and unconscious. So I'm saying this occasion is not just a ceremony, but a beginning of a meeting of the minds. From here, where are we going? And how do we reposition this province? What are the strengths in terms of the economy of this province? And what are the shortfalls? And how do we augment and create a path that benefits all of the people of this province? As I'm sitting down, chairperson of the council, one area which is a glaring one in the province, which I must share with you, sinengxaki ye-self-hate apha eprovinsini. Before we are liberated as a province, we need to liberate ourselves from ourselves. Sinengxaki ye-self-hate apha. Iyakwazi ukwenzeka into wrong in one of the provinces and be acceptable. But once yenzeke apha, kubekho ingxaki, is multiply. Mhlawumbi ke yi-culture le yabe kuthethwe ngayo kuqala apha, bi-culture yalapha. This is a province, originally, a province which has got a history of struggles. I don't want to say it's a province of rebels. A province of rebels in the sense that it was not an accident that they fought more than 100 years for us to be where we are now. That's characterize and indicate the character of the people of this province. So xa bekuthuka ukwi-position of authority, funeka uyamkele loo nto uba sikufanele esi sithuko. Ngoba banale mbali basuka nayo from the 100 years back yoba ngabantu aba-intolerant ezintweni ezirongo. But ndiyafuna ke into yokuba njengembali erich yalapha eprovinsini, let's find a way to solve the X for the governance of the province. Find a way to ensure that you utilize the capacity that we have in terms of the 4 institutions that we have. We utilize the individual capabilities that we have, because that's another elephant in the room here in the province. Sithatha ngento yobana kukho umuntu uyaziyo into nobukhona apha endlini uba andimthandi. Uba andimthandi ngixelele ofunwa ngapha eRhawutini. Azokwenza lento ihafu kule bendizawuyenza mna. Kuba qha esuka eRhawutini. okanye suka in another province. So I'm saying there are issues that we need to deal with them that are systemic and structural, that has got a potential to make us close shop before the generations to come to see the light of this province. Abantu beliphondo bazibophelele kule institution, and I'm happy by some of the sentiments raised by the DG here. One critical question that we must resolve is the issue of the allocations. And I'm happy that WUSU is the second highest allocated institution in the country. But isolating WUSU outside of the broad fiscal policy of the province and of the country is a problem. Ubufuna uyibona lonto, wait for December. Xa bebuyile abakhaya. Abanamali lapha bayothuka ngoku xa kunephanato esibhedlela. Their money is not here. They're not budgeted here. So I'm saying there must be a re-engineering, researched methodology and philosophy on some of the policies that we have in government. Sihlukane ne-routine governance. Siqhela uyenza ngolu hlobo lento. Noba imeko seyitshintsha ibonakalisa uba man, there is something wrong here that needed to be engineered and turn things around for the purpose of the people of this particular province. We welcome the invitation, Chairperson and the VC, and we are happy that we are part of this gathering today. We commit as provincial government that will forever be indebted on the wisdom of this institution. It was never been called WUSU just for the sake. There was history involved on that. And ours is not to mourn, therefore, but reorganize ourselves and forge ahead with the mission and the targets of the institution that has been set before us. Thanks.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's the afternoon already. I just want to begin by saluting your new Chancellor. There's nothing that is very special to me than to address her as Madam Chancellor Nonkululeko Gobodo, Chancellor of the Walter Sisulu University. Congratulations. We have been on the same path for a long time, but I never imagined that it could happen, that she becomes the Chancellor of this university, where I was Vice Chancellor. I congratulate her and wish her the very best, that under her leadership, the university will continue to prosper as a center of academic excellence, as well as a center of institutional integrity. I have no doubt she is going to serve as a role model to all of us, and is going to be a source of support and inspiration to the Vice Chancellor, to the Chairman of Council, to the Council, regarding how we should position ourselves to distinguish the university as a center of academic excellence, as well as excellence in the way that it manages its affairs. I'm very pleased, although I have not had time to greet them, but to see Utadua Bapo, Ulinda, and see the children, it's very special to me. It's really, I could not have missed this occasion for anything else. You know, it was very special when, at my young age, as a newly qualified accountant, their father came to office and asked us to go and be the bookkeepers of his practice. Their father was what I would call a serial entrepreneur. He's the kind of guy who would rise today and prosper, and tomorrow he's bankrupt. And has to start, you would think that this is the end of him. But in no time, he will conquer again and rise. So that's where she got that spirit from. So we were very pleased. We had an excellent time in Mthatha. We lived here at this university for 15 years. My wife was sitting at the back here. She had the privilege of interacting with many of you. Congratulations and best wishes, Mam Tembo. My best wishes to the Vice Chancellor, to the Chairman of Council. But of course, coming here is very special to me. I cannot help just casting my mind back. When I received the invitation, I had this imagination of Nonkululeko wandering as a young girl. I think it was a panel beating business. Yeah. There as a bookkeeper and all that. And now showing an interest, I'm sure the parents wanted her to be a doctor. Because during our days, if your daughter was very bright, you said this is going to be a medical doctor. But unknowingly to the parents, she just liked seeing us as accountants coming in and out and asking questions from her and the father and other managers of the business. She got interested. The rest is history. Unfortunately, I didn't have the privilege of teaching her directly. As she says, I taught in the very early years, and then there was Professor Ryan, but the person who really built the department and produced the chartered accountants that the Eastern Cape, especially Mthatha, was able to produce was George Williams. Under him, I think during my time, I can only recall Terence Nombembe, Tomato, Serobe, and people like that were in my class, and it was a privilege to see them there. But in just understanding how special it is to be here today, I want just to go back and share with you the ideas and thoughts that were in our minds in 1977 when we came here to start the university. I had just recently qualified as a chartered accountant, and I wanted to do something that could show, I would say the white community in particular, white people, that my passing the exams was not an accident. You can be black and numerate at the same time. This was not an accident that Africans can only talk. So you can also be numerate. So I grabbed the opportunity when it was decided to open a branch of the University of Fort Hare in Mthatha. I said, this is one opportunity in a lifetime, where as a young qualified chartered accountant, you have got an opportunity to establish a department and shape it in the way that you believe best in terms of being a center of inspiration to young Africans who aspire for greatness. That's the reason I came here. Coming here, I come across Chabane Manganyi. Chabane was the first dean of the Faculty of Arts. I hope when we write about the history of this university, we'll remember it. The idea of converting, of subverting the agenda of an apartheid government, of a Bantustan government into what we did in actually reconstructing UNITRA, I attribute that to him. He's a guy who said, Wiseman, this is a unique opportunity. We have got something that we can shape and be the center that will really give the kind of education that Africans deserve and show what they are capable of. Yes, the government had their own objectives, but through that, Shabane was able to recruit the Totemeyers of this world, that was a rebel in South Africa, to become a head of political science, Herbert Vilakazi, who became head of sociology, and many others. Of course, we stumbled in 1984 when the Homeland authorities became very concerned about what was going on here. A number of them were deported. But I'm pleased to say that that spirit of Shabane Manganya never died. We who stayed behind, we said, this is going to be a center of excellence. We deliberately focused on professions because that's the area that I understood better. For me, I had to make sure that through the accounting department, we produce the second and the third African chartered accountant from this university. This is what happened. The whole of South Africa, there was one African chartered accountant when I came head of department here. That was the case up to 78, 79, 80. I trained those young men coming from Fort here. They wrote the board exams in 1980, 81. They passed and they became the second and the third chartered accountants in the country. So that focus on professionals, on developing professionals, remained very much embedded in the Faculty of Economic Sciences. As you know, we had Professor Wolfgang Thomas, who became head of economics. We had a young man, Iraj Abidin, who became famous subsequently. We got him to South Africa, and he was one of the gems that we had in the faculty. And then, of course, we had George Williams. We continued then and became a center of excellence in accounting. Our degrees recognized and accredited by the best universities in the country. We're very proud of that. Fortunately, later on, that was lost. We gave the same spirit of Manganya, really influenced our faculty of law. We attracted some of the best legal minds into that faculty. And through that, Selwyn Miller, Dick Bikoyana, Shope, and others, they trained and produced some of the best legal minds that have come to characterize our judiciary in this country. We're very proud of. These things did not happen by accident. We, as the Africans, were privileged to be given this space to influence what can be done. We converted that space into a center of excellence. We had to deal from time to time with the reality of being in a homeland. Authorities being panicking when they see students strike or things like that, and then, of course, we'll be at the center of it. But we had to intervene and make sure that we deal with those matters with maturity, integrity, and of course, we're not putting further, respect me, because I was the head of the university, respect me. I would come to this hall to engage Nehau, to engage the students as Wiseman, Lomkile, and Kushu, not as a former Robben Island prisoner. But I wouldn't be going there. I would say, take me at what you see. Judge what I'm sharing with you. Whether you trust my words, that really what I'm telling you is the truth, is up to you. I'm pleased that we had an excellent relationship. I was pleased to hear the head of Nehau's secretary making the remarks here, because we were proud at the time. Actually, when he did it, we're not even aware that we were the first university in South Africa to give recognition to Nehau. It came naturally to us. We were the first university before all these historically white universities. It came naturally. It was a natural thing. It was our own African people, leading that organization. Of course, as you know, we have also had the excellent work in the Faculty of Medicine. The university was privileged to have Professor Kabo Mokwena, who was later joined by Dan Ngayane, Lizo Mazwai, and others. Again, they produced an excellent institution, which became a model for how to train doctors for the conditions in which we operate. This was true also for education. We did education. We deliberately focused on producing teachers, on producing accountants, on producing lawyers, and of course, doctors and nurses. And we did a very good job of that, and we're very proud of that. So my point, therefore, Madam Chancellor, is that if it was possible to make the impact that we had under those difficult conditions, knowing that the objectives of the authorities establishing university were different, but we managed to reshape those to produce the kind of result we served. If you doubt it, look at the justices of the Constitutional Court, look at the justices in the high courts and see the products of this university. You can look at the Auditor General of the second Auditor General of the country came from this university as it has been. So if it was possible to do that, I think now Walter Sisulu University is even better placed to achieve even greater heights. Nonkululeko, your life serves as a good example of tenacity, commitment to excellence, and to goals, and never giving up. And reference was made to your role in establishing the biggest black audit firm in South Africa. You had that vision. You stumbled a number of times. You even left the profession without accomplishing that goal. But the great thing, because that was always your aspiration, you came back to say, this unfinished work. Went back and finished. You are inspiration to many, not only black women, to lots of professionals. My plea, Chairman of Council, is that when I have got occasions like this, I keep asking ourselves, if I talk about this Wiseman Kuhlu, who's chartered accountant, who has created this aspiration, Nonkululeko, and talk about these justices of the Supreme Court and these great Africans who have achieved those things, why in Africa and this country we still have 56% of our people in poverty? Why is it that we cannot run simple things like a Department of Education? We have to ask this question seriously, but my answer towards that, much as we have achieved excellence as individuals, but as a community or as Africans, we still yet to achieve that. Let's see how we move towards that. Firstly, I think the first step is that we must just appreciate that everything, cathedrals, whatever is great, you build it step by step, brick by brick. I think we've done well now. We have an excellent Chairman of Council, excellent Vice Chancellor, and now we have got your Chancellor. I take it that excellence spreads to the heads of departments, the professors, and so on. So it's very important that when we are given these opportunities to lead institutions, to lead a department, whatever, you take it as your personal responsibility to work and build and perform at the highest standards of excellence, of performance, of integrity. Don't blame the environment, because you'll never be able to accept responsibility. You must accept personal responsibility. So I'm very pleased that this university then is privileged to have you as leaders. I have no doubt it's well positioned to be an institution of academic excellence, an institution of excellence in managing its affairs. And this is how we're going to rebuild this country. We'll have to identify some of our best people who have distinguished themselves in terms of competence, in terms of integrity, in terms of their performance, to actually lead those. And when they do so, they mustn't only talk excellence. They mustn't only talk integrity. They mustn't only condemn corruption. it must be seen in how they conduct themselves. You must model the aspirations, the principles, the values that you talk about. People must not just listen to you, they must see how you conduct yourself. This is the test. This is the test. We're all good now, especially as academics, to talk about these things right at length about them. But what is still missing is that taking personal responsibility and accountability is one. And I think now that you have the role models leading this institution, you're in a better positioned to do that. Therefore, I am greatly honored and privileged and very happy to be here today to see the university taking this big step forward. I have no doubt you are going to make, you are going to be a great success. You are going to grow from strength to strength. And you remember, the reason, just one last link. Yeah, this thing is heavy on me. Yeah, sorry, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, possibly I know that I'm inclined to be too serious when I talk because I'm serious. Why I'm serious is because we as Africans, we are undermined, despised for centuries. We're enslaved. We're victims of racism. We're seen as inferior and that incapable of governing ourselves and achieving the greatness that other nations have achieved. Here's our opportunity. We're free. Don't try to have excuses about the Constitution and so on. There's enough space here for us to really do things differently. If Bantu education disadvantages our people, why do you continue with Bantu education today? Unless we talk clearly about these things and improve the curriculum of our schools at basic school and do away with math literacy and give quality education and make sure that a child, when he finishes grade 12, you are qualified for something. Either you can repair computers, or you can be a plumber, or you can be an electrician. We can't spend all those years, you finish 12 years, you don't have qualifications to go to university, and you have no qualification to do nothing. This is, we're continuing with apartheid education, Bantu education, if we do that. This is the revolution that must take place here. If we are going to, we as the educated people who are sitting here today, the fate, the future of our country is in our hands. It depends on us what to do with the opportunities. Madam Chancellor, we have served as role models. We keep on talking about these things, but in the spaces that we're privileged to serve in, let's make it happen. Let's not talk about the right things. Let's do the right things appropriately. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
The Deputy Vice Chancellor will come and give vote of thanks. Let me just make a short announcement because we have been here for some time. Immediately, DVC and Chancellor having done to perform their part, the Chancellor's procession on stage will be the first to leave the auditorium and will be followed by the academic procession, and everyone will follow up there to our reception lunch. DVC.
Molweni, I know I'm standing between your lunch, so I will try my best to just give a vote of thanks. On behalf of the Chairperson of Council, Advocate Ngokai Toby, and the Vice Chancellor and Principal of Walter Sisulu University, Professor Rushila Songa, it is indeed an honor for me to give a vote of thanks. I would like to thank the DDG of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Mashia Sotikwa, who has just left, and the department, the delegation from the ministry, led by the advisor to the minister. Also want to thank His Royal Highness, King Damase Kandamase. Also thank Nkosikazi, Nosizwe, Nolundisiso, Mtirara, and all her traditional leaders present, and Holomis, Pateka Holomis. I'm surprised people are laughing. Have I misinterpreted? Oh, I'm sorry. I read it in Chivenda, so understand. To the Deputy Speaker of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, Honorable Koboshiane, we thank you. The MEC for Education in the Eastern Cape, Honorable Mr. Gade, the Executive Mayor of OR Tambo District Municipality, Councillor Ngong Ndwana, to the Executive Mayor of King Sabata Dalindebo, Councillor Nelani, and to all captains of industry and CEOs, we want to thank you. We know you are very busy people, but you took time out of your schedule to come and be with us. We want to thank the Council of the University. I think you need to give them a round of applause. They are almost all of them here. And also led by the Chairperson of Council, of course. Walter Sisulu Convocation as well, they are here, we thank you. Our management team of the university, led by Professor Rushila Songa, and labor representatives, as well as the ISRC, and all staff members and students of WSU. We thank you. It's a Saturday today, but look at you, you are here. Honored guests, Professor Nkutlu, Professor Musia, the VC, acting VC of University of Pretoria, the CEO of SAICA, who even gave us the history, Justice of Constitutional Court, Justice Madlanga, Dr. Swema, Advocate Rambani, Baba Rumerise Bachumela Hayan, Advocate Professor Mazwai. We really want to thank you very much for honoring our invitation. Some of you even participated in the program. To our bishop, we thank you for serving us with that milk that you reminded that we should not drink alone, but share. To the Chairperson of Council, we are really honored to have a leader of your caliber. You reminded us of who our Chancellor is. And Professor Songa, thank you for your leadership, for being a fearless woman and bold. And look at you, someone fearless as you are, has joined. To the Chancellor, Madam Chancellor, you are actually a role model to many of us. And as the Chairperson said, you are indeed a trailblazer. You never allowed any situation, any stumbling block to block you. And this is who you are. You have broken all the stereotypes about women, about blacks, and you were able to go against all the odds. And here you are representing us women in August. Thank you for your humility. Thank you for being a servant. Thank you for accepting this nomination, because that goes with a lot of responsibility. And I'm sure you heard congratulatory messages from different speakers already giving you a job that you know. And I want to thank all of them who spoke on behalf of all the different organizations giving congratulatory messages. I don't want to read each one by name because we don't have much time. I also want to thank friends of WSU, funders, our donors, who also donated for this event. We appreciate you. We also want to thank the praise singer, Imbongi. We thank you. To our choir, Africa Sings, when Africa is celebrating, and you really helped us to celebrate. To our sign language interpreter, thank you very much for availing yourself. organizers of this event, registrar and his team, MC and her team, photographers, IT, those working behind scenes, the security team, facility, cleaning, ushers, all those who've also provided us with nourishment. Thank you. I want to specifically thank the family of our Chancellor, Ms. Nonkululeko Gobodo. We thank you for allowing her this opportunity that we share her with you, because that means you are not selfish. You would say, hey, Ma, when will we get the time to be with you? Hey, Granny, what, you know, where will you be? We can't make an appointment to meet you because you are so busy. But yes, you allowed that chance for your grandma, for your mother to work with us. On that note, we thank you. They say it takes a village to raise a child. The community that supported her to be where she is today, we really want to thank you. To all of you, siyabulela. Thank you.
Sizawucula national anthem andiphakame. Nkosi.
Nkosi sikeleli Afrika, maluphakanyisa uphondo lwayo, izwa imithandazo yethu. Nkosi sikelela thina, lusapho lwayo, murena buluka sitshaba sa Yesu. Ufedise tintwali matsenye, usibuluke sichabasa, Yesu sichabasa, South Africa, South Africa, Etiblom van onseme, etitipte van onsye, Morosye vergebetes, wat die kranse aanvoortje. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
By the virtue of the powers vested in me, I declare the Chancellor Inauguration ceremony closed.
Langalinga solemnini, Dombika mhlakazana, nqawusesigwethembe njani na, wathi zobuya inkomo zobawo. Langalinga solemnini, bonke bengakholwa bo, ukuthi babulala imfuyo bo, imfuyo bayixabisile bo, nabaphansi bebahlonele bo, bavume bonke bengakholwa bo, ukuthi babulala imfuyo bo, imfuyo bayixabisile bo, nabaphansi bebahlonele sonke izotshisa bo, inkomo zamadoda, besalame
bayixabisile nabaphansi bebahlonele sonke izotshiswa ikhona zamadoda esalabe babongezasi ukwandini likanonke 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 navume bonke bengafona ukuthi babulala imfuyo bayixabisile nabaphansi bebahlonele navume bonke bengakholwa ukuthi babulala imfuyo bayixabisile nabaphansi bebahlonele